Let me be clear. I'm not all for filling the bank accounts in Israel. They don't need our money, but they do need our military support, especially for what's about to happen and what's coming down. Watch this.
Including, and if you'll forgive me, because again, these stories recede so quickly. A family at its breakfast table at one of the kibbutzes. And by the way, the profound irony of attacks on kibbutzes, the very people who most ardently believe and want a future of peace between Israelis and Palestinians, a future of two states. A family of four, a young boy and girl, 6 and 8 years old, and their parents around the breakfast table. The father, his eye gouged out in front of his kids. The mother's breast cut off. The girl's foot amputated. The boy's fingers cut off before they were executed. And then their executioners sat down and had a meal. That's what this society is dealing with. And no nation could tolerate that. And as we've said repeatedly, as President Biden has repeatedly made clear, Israel has not only the right, but the obligation to defend itself and to try to take every possible step to make sure this doesn't happen again. We've been equally clear that it is vitally important how Israel does this. And the imperative of doing everything possible to protect civilians, as well as to care for those who are endangered by the conflict, is something that we feel strongly.
Now, again, let me be clear about something. The only reason why Joe Biden, these Democrats, and I've said this so many times already, and I guess I'm repeating myself, is because they want the Jewish community to continue to pour money into them. You understand? That's it. Like Hollywood, y'all hear about Hollywood? Y'all have heard me say this before. And the music industry will control the Federal Reserve, controlled all by Jewish people. What you hear them say all the time. The Federal Reserve is not a government entity, just because it says Federal Reserve. But so they want the Jewish community, the liberal, mind you, Jewish community, to continue to pour money into the Democrat Party. That's what they want. That's the only reason. Because if the Jewish community was supporting conservatives through and through, they would be saying, Israel, you're on your own. Because the Democrats, they don't care. All they care is about money and power. That's the only reason. That's the only reason why they're helping them, because they have Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, the squad. They all hate Israel. They truly hate Israel. They truly do. But they like the money more. That's the only reason why they're acting like they're supporting them.
You're, of course, right that this is a special burden on Israel because Hamas cynically and monstrously puts intentionally civilians in harm's way by hiding behind them, by using them as human shields, by placing its people, by placing its equipment, by placing its ammunition, its weapons, its command posts underneath hospitals, underneath schools, in residential complexes. But for each of us, and particularly for democracies like Israel and the United States, we have to bear the burden of doing everything we possibly can to ensure that civilians are not harmed and to care for those who need our help. When it comes to a ceasefire, in this moment, you're exactly right. That would simply consolidate what Hamas has been able to do and allow it to remain where it is and potentially repeat what it did another day. And that's not tolerable. No nation would tolerate it. We do believe that we have to consider things like humanitarian pauses to make sure that assistance can get to those who need it and that people can be protected and get out of harm's way. But we can't have a situation where there's a reversion to the status quo, where when this is over, it goes back to Hamas being responsible for the governance and
You hearing this? He literally, see, this is why I don't trust anything that these people say. And it keeps going right back to what I've been saying. It's all about money. They're trying to act like it. He literally just said Hamas being what? Responsible? He literally said Hamas going back to being responsible?
Where when this is over, it goes back to Hamas being responsible.
That's never going to happen. That is never going to happen. Hamas is nothing but an evil entity that are rabid dogs that need to be put down. And I'm not a violent person, but what they've done here This horrific. He just listed off the horrific things that they're doing, and he's talking about them going back being what? Responsible? What is he smoking? This dude is a joke. He's no different than the rest of the Democrats. No different. Not at all. Which brings me to this. Have y'all seen this? Mayorkas. Mayorkas is one of the biggest idiots. You know what Mayorkas reminds me of, Shannon? He reminds me of a different version of Fauci. Remember how Fauci would go and he would argue with Rand Paul constantly and telling Rand Paul that he's wrong, he was going off. Well, he does the same thing with Senator Hawley. The exact same thing. Won't answer any questions, extremely evasive, knowing good and well he's been caught, but he's acting stupid. I mean, these people try to come across like they're highly intelligent, and he's so stupid and you know what?
I think it's intentful.
He's doing it on purpose. Yeah. It's intentful. 100% intentful.
Another hearing that happened today was on the border and questioning the people working in Department of Homeland Security and how many terrorists have come across the border. And literally, Mayorkas would not answer the freaking questions.
But this is about the border as well, because they're talking about children.
Yeah, I said coming through the border.
Listen to this. Listen to this. This is talking about children, and Mayorkas, he's talking about fentanyl. But there's a whistleblower that's blowing the whistle on what they remove agents from. Listen to this.
Are there HSI special agents who are currently at the border having been pulled away from other cases?
Combating the fight against fentanyl, yes.
How many agents are currently at the border having been pulled off of their other cases?
To fight the scourge of fentanyl, I'd be very pleased to provide you with that data.
That's not what the special agent is alleging. That's not what she said.
You see this? He's literally lying to him. And he has proof right there with the whistleblower saying. Watch.
She said that they're being taken off of fentanyl interdiction, off of child exploitation cases, off of their other investigations into criminals to make sandwiches. That's her quote. You're saying that this is a lie, that she's wrong?
Senator, we have a number of law enforcement priorities with the resources.
Is making sandwiches one of them?
We have, of course not, Senator. We accomplish a tremendous amount.
Is she wrong?
Because of the tremendous talent and dedication of our personnel, including Homeland Security investigations.
Making sandwiches for illegal immigrants. Is she wrong? This is one of your agents. Is she wrong? She says that there are 600 at least special agents pulled off of other cases, sent down to the border to babysit illegal immigrants. Is she wrong?
Senator, our personnel, we use our...
It's a simple question. Is she wrong? Yes or no? Is she wrong? And yes or no? He doesn't want to say. He doesn't want to say because then it'll make him look a certain way.
Personnel to achieve the maximum law enforcement objective possible. That is what we do.
And so you're not going to deny it.
And I'm incredibly proud of what our people do
this
every
is news.
Single day.
This is news.
Wow. Whistleblower come out there and he won't even deny that they're pulling off these agents to prevent them from getting the sex trafficking of children. They pulled them off of it, allowing it to happen, wanting it to happen. Won't even change it up. Right? Won't even recognize what they're doing. And he won't even acknowledge it, basically, what he's saying. Well, I'm not going to acknowledge that we're actually doing it. Why? Because these people are straight up evil. They want more children. What, 85,000 children missing is not enough. They need 150 million children missing. That's how evil these people are. That's how evil they are. If they have every child in their human sex trafficking ring, they would be happy with it. They wouldn't have any issues with it. Wouldn't have any issues with it at all. Let me share this with you. Here's another one talking about at the hearings where Senator Hawley was drilling. He was drilling Mayorkas. And good for him because they need to drill Mayorkas. Mayorkas should have been gone a long time ago. There's no secret about that either. Listen to this.
Let me ask you about people who say other things. What about people who say things like, on October the 7th, F Israel, I'm cleaning up the language here, F Israel, the government and its military, are you ready for your downfall? People who say things like F Israel and any Jew who supports Israel. May your conscience haunt your dreams until your last breath. Palestine will be free one day. F apartheid Israel and is any Israeli. This is pretty extreme rhetoric, don't you think?
Senator, I do, and I think there is a distinction between espousing or endorsing terrorist ideology and speech that is odious, that does not rise to that level.
Fair enough. This person works for you. This is Nuja Ali, an employee of the Department of Homeland Security, who posted these comments on October the 7th. That's not all she posted. She also posted this graphic. Now, this is a fake graphic, I want to be clear, but I think we understand it. This is a paraglider, a Hamas paraglider, depicted here with a machine gun flying into Israel. She posted it under her online alias with the celebratory Free Palestine. Mr. Secretary, what's going on here? Is this typical of people who work at DHS? This is an asylum and immigration officer who is posting these, frankly, pro-genocidal slogans and images on the day that Israelis are being slaughtered in their beds. What have you done?
Now look at this. Now watch him. I have 4 things for you. 4 things. Number 1, see, this is why I make that connection with him and Fauci, because remember, Fauci would yell at Rand Paul too. Fauci needs to go to prison. This dude needs to go to prison. Every last one of them needs to go to prison. And again, I've mentioned it so many times. If you are in any position in federal government, local, state, whatever it is, don't even have to be just federal, and you're supporting a terrorist organization like Hamas, you should not be able to hold that position. Go find you a different job. Go do something else. But you should not be in a position, Homeland Security of all places, they know that these people support a terrorist group. And there's nothing wrong with it. Watch this.
About this.
4 things I'd like to say to you. Number 1, your question to suggest that that is emblematic of the men and women of the Department of Homeland Security is despicable.
I'm sorry, what have you done? This person works for the Department of Homeland Security. Have you fired her?
That was 1 of 4 answers.
Have you fired her?
1.
Have you fired her? Don't come to this hearing room when Israel has been invaded and Jewish students are barricaded in libraries in this country and cannot be escorted out because they are threatened for their lives. You have employees who are celebrating genocide, and you are saying it's despicable for me to ask the question? Has she been fired?
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Secretary.
After the consumption of Senator Hawley's time, I'd like to speak.
Has she been fired?
Because I will
We
not
would like an answer.
I mean, what? It's really a basic question. Yes, she's been fired. Yes, she's been fired. Right? That's what he's been saying. Yes, she's been fired, because we're not going to have someone that's working for Homeland Security actually advocating for genocide for a group of people. Right? We're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. But there's so much hatred for Israel, these people have become blinded. And even Mayorkas, he cries at the end of all of this, and he goes, and my parents was a Holocaust survivor, and you should know this. So was George Soros, apparently. You're the same thing. Mayorkas is the exact same type of George Soros Jewish person. The person that a lot of people don't make the connection because they have so much hatred, they can't make the connection. That is Jewish liberals that are Jewish, progressives. This liberalism is a demonic spirit and exists everywhere.
Would you?
Because I will not be given the opportunity.
Has she been fired?
So that individual has been placed on administrative leave.
So she's not been fired.
Number 2.
Why has she not been fired?
Number 2, the individual was hired in 2019.
Why has she not been fired?
Number 3, I cannot speak to an ongoing personnel matter.
Why has this person not been fired? Your answer is you can't speak to it? This isn't sufficient to fire her?
I am not in a position to speak to an ongoing personnel matter.
This
That-
isn't sufficient to fire her? That's what you're telling me?
That is not what I'm saying.
But she's still on your payroll as we sit here today.
That is not what I'm saying.
She's still on your payroll as we sit here today.
Senator,
How many cases? She was an asylum and immigration officer. How many cases did she adjudicate?
Senator, I'm not in a position to speak about an ongoing personnel.
I'm not asking about that. I'm asking you how many cases she adjudicated.
My answer remains.
Did she adjudicate any cases involving Israelis seeking asylum in this country?
Same answer.
Well, let me just point you to what else she posted on social media, where she drew attention to the fact that she is an immigration and asylum officer. Hashtag immigrants, hashtag asylum seekers, hashtag Palestine, hashtag refugees welcome. This is on her LinkedIn post where she has her professional affiliation posted.
And I want y'all to listen to his next question. That's all public information. That's in the public. He took a screenshot, blew it up. This is public information. He's not about to ask Mayorkas private information about this person. He's asking him about public information. And watch Mayorkas' response.
So I think the American people deserve to know, has she admitted, contrary to law, individuals who should not be in this country or denied Jewish refugees whose genocide she's advocating asylum that they deserve?
Same answer.
You're not going to tell us what this person's done? Are you conducting a review of her cases at least?
Senator, as I have said over and over again, I cannot speak to an ongoing
You said that you will
personnel
not. I
matter.
can't believe that you would come to this committee knowing this. You know about this. I've written to you about it. You know all about it. And you come here unwilling to answer and suggest that it is wrong of me to ask you the question. Quite frankly, Mr. Secretary, I think that your performance is despicable. And I think the fact that you are not willing to provide answers to this committee is absolutely atrocious.
Watch
Mr.
this.
Chairman, may I?
Like, if you'd like to have a minute to respond, you are welcome to.
I would, and I'm not sure I'll limit it to 60 seconds.
That's fine.
And see, here he's real bold. Why? Because this is the Senate. This is the Senate. Because of Mitch McConnell handed the Senate over to the Democrats. Y'all believe that? I don't care if you believe it or not. A lot of people were blaming President Trump for losing the Senate. It was Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell refused to help Republicans during the election. Mitch McConnell's the reason why he get to sit there and pucker his chest all out, act like he's all bold and tough. Listen to his fake cry.
Number one, what I found despicable is the implication that this language, tremendously odious, actually it could be emblematic of the sentiments of the 260,000 men and women of the Department of Homeland Security. Number one. Number two, Senator Hawley takes an adversarial approach to me in this question, and perhaps he doesn't know my own background. Perhaps he does not know that I am the child of a Holocaust survivor.
So?
Perhaps he does not know that my mother lost almost all her family.
So?
At the hands of the Nazis.
So?
And so I find his adversarial tone to be entirely misplaced. I find it to be disrespectful of me and my heritage.
No one cares. No one cares. You're the same type of Jewish person that we all know George Soros is. Demonic. The same one as Chuck Schumer. Demonic. You understand what I'm saying? All of these people are demonic. That's the reason why people like Mayorkas, Chuck Schumer, Jerry Nadler, they're the ones that give Jewish people a bad name. This is the reason why a lot of people can't stand them. And it really kind of gets to me because people don't make the differentiation between a conservative Jewish person and a liberal. They just lump them all together. You can't do that because then you can lump all black people together and just assume all black people are Democrats. And we know that not to be true, right? We know it's not true. But so we can't do that. But some people, there's so much hatred in them, their minds just get so clouded, they can't, oh, no, just Jewish people, just Jewish people, just Jewish people. It's like the most idiotic thing to me ever. And he's sitting there crying. Hold on. I'm going to go to this other video that I want to show you. This is, of course, is about anti-Israel. And of course, they don't want. Now, here come the true colors of the Democrat Party. Now, again, just to be clear, for everyone who didn't hear me, no money. We don't need to fill anybody bank accounts in Israel. Are y'all with me on that? I'm pretty sure you are. Yes, you are. Just like Ukraine, we don't need to fill anybody bank accounts. I'm all for helping them militarily. Yes, I am. You can dislike it. But watch this. Look at the liberals coming in here. Blinken is talking how they're going to support Israel. And of course, again, it's all the same reason why I've already told you why the Democrats want to support them. But listen to these other Democrats that show up because of the support. I'm going to have to skip in because it's kind of long. Listen.
We've invested in the modernization of our military. And we've invested in our greatest strategic asset abroad, our network of allies and partners, which is growing larger, stronger, more united, and more capable than ever. We're standing up for our interests and values, not shrinking back. Not in the face of Russia's aggression against Ukraine. Not in the face of an intensifying strategic competition in the Indo-Pacific and around the world.
If the witness will suspend, and I ask that everyone again respect this hearing, we will suspend until the room is cleared.
Is calling for a ceasefire. Shame on you all. The world is calling for a ceasefire. The American people don't want to support this brutal war. Stop the war. Stop the ceasefire now. Stop funding this brutal massacre that Israel is doing on the people.
And you know what? She doesn't say that. And you know what? How many times did y'all see her out there when Ukraine was getting all this money? How many times have you seen these tyrants on the left and screaming, no money for Ukraine, no money for Ukraine? None. None of them. They all get silent. They all get quiet. Here's like a continuation of this. Listen, watch this.
All right, John, so...
I was just going to say, as we watch these protesters, I thought this could go on for maybe a half an hour or so, but they're standing up en masse now, so they'll all get bounced very quick.
So they're all in there screaming. Not a single one of them screaming, no more funding for Ukraine. No more funding for Ukraine. What a bunch of hypocrites. Stop sending our money out, period. Stop sending it out. Stop filling up bank accounts. We have American citizens right now that are hurting, and they're wanting to send more money that we don't even have. We have to borrow from China. We have to borrow the money from China. And China's, oh, let me tell y'all about this really quick. Did you know that China removed Israel from their digital maps? I know there's some tyrants right now. There's oh yeah, China. We love China. We love China. Look at this.
Yeah, China deletes Israel from online maps. Israel no longer appears on online digital maps from Baidu and Alibaba, according to the Wall Street Journal. The Wall Street Journal reported Tuesday that internet users in China are expressing bewilderment that Israel's name is no longer appearing on major online digital maps.
China.
They did this following the outbreak of the war against Hamas.
So there it is. And there's people that call themselves Christians, conservatives, and China, good for China, good for China, because they don't know the Bible. They really don't.
You like the content Will Johnson is producing? To stay informed and up to date with the current events, go ahead and hit the thumbs up and subscribe to see more videos like this one. Also, to find Will Johnson, visit www.uaf.media.